I remember when I was a teenager, friends were a big deal to me. I want to talk about friends and what Joseph Smith's experience after the first vision teaches us about being a good friend. I'm Art, and this is So What? All right, I want to give you a hypothetical, something to think about. And as I'm telling you this story, I want you to think, have I ever seen this in school or in church or with my group of friends? There's a kid and he's new in town and he sees that there's two groups of friends. One group of friends we'll call the good group. The other group of friends is involved in things that are not so good, we'll say. Obviously, this kid wants to be a part of the good group, so he goes and he tries to befriend them. But for whatever reason, they just don't accept him. Now tell me, what always ends up happening? If you aren't accepted into one group, you're naturally gonna go to the other group. Have you ever seen this happen at school or at church? Now, what if I was to tell you that the year was 1820? Who is this new kid? Joseph Smith had a very similar experience. Let's read verse 28 of Joseph Smith history and see what he says about his experience. Just like in the hypothetical story I just shared, Joseph said, I was left to all kinds of temptations and mingling with all kinds of society. I frequently fell into many foolish errors and displayed the weaknesses of youth and the foibles of human nature, which I am sorry to say led me into diverse temptations, offensive in the sight of God. Why? What led him to this? If we look ahead a bit, we can see that he said that he was persecuted by those who ought to have been my friends. Persecuted by those who ought to have been his friends. Now I know what you're thinking. So what? But think about that for a second. Persecuted by those who ought to have been his friends. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever felt rejected by a group of people that you thought should have been the most welcoming people? What about you and your group of friends? Are you not as welcoming to outsiders as maybe you should be? I recently saw a video on TikTok that broke my heart, and I want to share it with you. And as we watch it, I just want you to listen. Just listen to what she says.
Dear Latter-day Saint members, for the past couple of days, I've been thinking about leaving the church. And then all of a sudden tonight, I got so many rude comments from church members. All because of a video I made saying that all members don't dress the same. And I just want you to know, just because I have these piercings does not make me any less of a member. This tattoo does not make me any less of a member. I gave up so much to join the church, and the fact that my church family attacked me and told me that I should leave was very disheartening and very heartbreaking. I never thought that such a loving group would do that to me.
If there is any place in the world where anyone should feel welcome, no matter who you are, it should be in the Lord's church. Monique in that video, and to anybody else that might be feeling exactly like she's feeling, you are loved, you are welcomed, and you are needed here in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It doesn't matter who you are or what you look like. We need you and we love you. And if you don't believe me, at least believe Elder Holland.
Fortunately, the seats for this particular number are limitless. There is room for those who speak different languages, celebrate diverse cultures, and live in a host of locations. There's room for the single, the married, for large families, and for the childless. There is room for those who once had questions regarding their faith, and room for those who still do. There is room for those with differing sexual attractions. In short, there is a place for everyone who loves God and honors His commandments as the inviolable measuring rod for personal behavior. For if love of God is the melody of our shared song, surely our common quest to obey Him is the indispensable harmony in it.
Tiny Heart. Check you later.